It's your girl Candy Kaylin,
And your boy Shout Time Shaw.
and it's 7 o'clock, so it's time to
Pull up.
here on Pull Up the Podcast. We talk sports, news, and hip hop. Mr. Shaw, we don't
Mm,
talk about people.
we just give you the facts.
Man, so we missed last week. I apologize. Mr. Shaw had
I had a
already
pot.
deserted y'all.
No, I had a show.
So he had already deserted y'all. He didn't give me time to find a co-host. So I'm putting the blame on not having a show on Mr. Shaw today. It's his
I
fault.
told you like a month ago I had a show.
You didn't tell me a month ago. I saw it updated on the calendar 2 days before. So I blame you.
Okay.
I'm just kidding. I don't put the complete blame on him. We would have had a part two with the best because we do have an additional co-host, but we gotta find somebody in backup for us that does sports. So I'm
hmm
working on that. I actually did too because I went to see Earth, Wind, and Fire last week. So I had the experience of a lifetime being able to check out the legendary group here at the new Moody Coliseum on the here in town. So we were out. We apologize. We are back. We've been keeping it pretty regular for you compared to some previous years. We had a run there where Mr. Shaw was the only host of the show, and I think for the last 3 years we've been pretty good of being here for you every week. Maybe not at the same time and not on the same station. Any radio stations that are close to Mr. Shaw that want to pick us up, let us know. But guys, we are here. Mr. Shaw, were you funny?
I try to be every day.
Well, did the people laugh?
Yeah, yeah. I got the standing of the big claps out there. You know what I'm saying? Yeah,
Okay, so some people found you funny.
yeah. Some people
Okay.
did. I also had a show Friday. I got booed off the stage. The girl Stud told me tomato, tomato, tomato.
Did she really?
She did. The straight chicks were laughing though. They was having a good time. So what I realize is dudes and studs be hating. So it is what it is. Can't really worry about it. Just keep
So
working.
that just means they're not your audience.
Yeah. Men don't
Wait,
become your audience until women start laughing at you. Then they want to tap in.
wait. We'll talk about it off air. She just gave you more comedy. So that's all people do. You add fuel to the fire. When you add a little bit more gasoline, something that's already on fire, what happens?
Just
Boom.
get it, boom.
It's bigger.
Well, I tell her like that's why men don't like y'all. Y'all always thinking y'all mean and y'all not. I come crack you in the head with this microphone. You gonna think I did you wrong?
Mr. Shaw, I will not participate in that conversation. I just realized I was using my regular camera light on my MacBook. Don't look too bad. So I'm gonna stick with it. Mr. Shaw, I'm not gonna stud bash. If the
I ain't
bestie, if
stud
I'm
bashing.
not stud bashing. I just
I got
know
a
that
stud
some
bestie.
I know, like
You know what I'm saying? So you know how I feel
again,
about
she gave
studs.
me
I
more
love.
comedy, right? It just gave
Yeah.
me more comedy thoughts with
She wouldn't have done
bestie.
it in my stud. My bestie was in there.
It just gave me more thoughts or whatever. So
Cause
you can't make they
what you're not gonna do is boo my bestie. Cause I will whoop you in here. Let's see,
but you
she was
can't
lucky.
make
My
their girlfriends laugh more than they're making their girlfriends laugh. So
hey man, that ain't my problem,
there
man.
you go. So anyway,
The,
well that's I feel like
my
that's a whole
job,
show.
my job is to get the waterfall started for you. You finish the job, I get it started for you. Ooh, he was funny. I'm here for you. See, they not using their brain. It's okay.
It's a think outside of the box, right? It's the whole think
Yeah.
outside of the box philosophy. So now look, I was too short, now I'm too tall, Mr. Shaw. I can't get it to work for me. There it is. I think it's because of the camera view. So we're gonna get into sports, guys. Get into some sports, right into it. There's a lot to cover. We are talking the NBA playoffs. We are also talking
You want me to give you the up to
people.
date numbers right now from what the game's looking like?
Give me a second because I have the scores up as well, so you can start with those. But our second part of the show, after we finish discussing, I don't know why someone's pop up. Once we finish discussing where we are with standings in the playoffs, there is also a conversation that Black America, the Shade Room, Jamie Foxx has jumped into the conversation about sports commentators, and they're having a conversation about Stephen A. Smith's comments regarding Ben Simmons. And I have a lot of thoughts. We are talking Stephen A. Smith, Skip Bayless, Charles Barkley on this episode of Pull Up, Mr. Shaw. The end of the show is going to be the best part. So if you haven't caught us now and you're new, make sure you stay tuned. So go ahead and give us the live updates on the scores.
Okay,
One day he's going to get off his phone and use the computer. One day.
Minnesota versus Memphis right now is 31-28 with Minnesota winning.
It's the whole clicking off and clicking back on, and we're live. Like, we can't hear you. We can't see you. We can't hear you. We can't
Tell
see
them
you.
that's how much we love y'all. We're giving y'all the live updates of the game. And Miami versus Atlanta is 40-39 with Miami winning. So you got two tight games, and the game later on tonight will be a good game also. The playoffs have been, the playoffs have been what you expect out of the playoffs. Brooklyn getting swept. I mean, well, not swept. It was 4-1.
No, they did get swept.
They did get swept, right? They
They
didn't
did
win the
get
game.
swept. It
See,
was
that's
4-0.
even
They didn't
worse.
win a game. They didn't win a game. So
That's even worse.
we were leading off with that, right? So there are the games that are currently going on. The Memphis Minnesota game, where that series is going to go 7 games, I do believe, down to the wire. The Atlanta Miami series is probably over tonight.
Nah, Jimmy Butler not playing.
You don't think that Miami's going to be able to pull it out without Jimmy
Jimmy
Butler?
Butler and Kyle Lowry not playing. You get Victor Oladipo coming back. Who gonna end the game? Tyler,
So did he get
Bam.
hurt? Because he wasn't on
He had
the
29 minutes before the game started, because again, I'm on different apps looking. I got bets.
right.
You know what I'm saying? Like he had inflammation in his knee. So
So he wasn't even on the questionable report at 3:30. So again, this world is up. This world is so quick. People don't understand.
because like
You got to be
on
doing good to do this
FanDuel,
job.
like if I pick my lineup yesterday, I got to pay attention today because I had Jimmy Butler in lineups. So that's guaranteed edge.
Right, but I'm saying Jimmy Butler at 3:30, with the Miami Heat game, at 3:30, Bogdanovich was questionable. Capella
Mm-hmm.
and Lou Williams was out. That was
Mm-hmm.
it for that series as of 3:30. For the Bucks game, Caruso, Zach LaVine were out in that game. LaVine was questionable. Alex Caruso, they were both questionable. That was at
Well,
3:30.
well, what's from college didn't pass
7.
protocol? Zach LaVine didn't pass COVID protocol, so he out.
Exactly. So these things change so quickly. So we started with that Brooklyn Boston series really quick. The conversation keeps coming back to Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. These are two champions, future Hall of Famers. Kyrie was left off the top 75, but these are future Hall of Famers, right? He's definitely in the top 100 at the 100-year celebration. He's definitely in the top 80 if we want to do 80 years, whatever, right? We know every 25 years is what we're doing it. We saw the 50, the 75, the 100. Kyrie is a part of that conversation. But at some point in time, Kyrie and Kevin Durant, you can't want to be the man and not want to be the man when it's time to be the man. There was, and you can't take it away from Boston. Marcus Smart is the defensive player of the year. He looked like it.
Mm-hmm.
Jason Tatum single-handedly shut Kevin Durant down. So, at what point do Kyrie and KD say, "Quit saying we got to do better"? Quit. Like, when are you two gonna do better? I saw nothing from like Kevin Durant hit a three on 1 foot on 1 foot yesterday. He did hit a three, but I just didn't see the surefire, the power of like we've got to win game. We've got to win this game. There wasn't a game 4. We're not going home. I didn't see that. Then you got a Ben Simmons who, since the trade, he hasn't even played.
He ain't played
People are
out
coming on
season.
when people are coming on the shade room going, Stephen A. Like, yeah, but if you're only getting a piece of what Stephen A. is saying, maybe others aren't being as loud. Stephen A. is a Philly guy. Like, he's a Philly guy. He used to write there in Philly. He knows the Sixers and Sixer basketball and the importance of, you know, what Ben Simmons was there as a Sixer and what he's come to Brooklyn.
So this is what I'm gonna say.
Brooklyn is now getting from him.
This is what I'm gonna
Nothing.
say. I'm not even gonna talk about Brooklyn. Right? I'm gonna talk about what Boston did. Boston's been to the finals the past 4 or 5 years, almost 3 times, with Kyrie there and Kyrie not playing. Right? We talking about back-to-back seasons. Jason Tatum's first 2 seasons, he was in the finals.
And they had to seed
I mean,
LeBron
not the
James.
finals, the Eastern Conference Finals. Right? You lose to
Finals,
LeBron.
same
Right?
similar team, younger
Lose to LeBron.
LeBron. I agree.
Right? You lose to LeBron. Right? So you've had the momentum. You had a good coach who went up and now he's the GM making good business decisions because you had one who probably wasn't making the best decisions as GM. He brought in Udoka, good coach, right? Y'all was struggling early in the season. Whatever he did, he figured out y'all ended at the second. Y'all was second in the East because Miami was first, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Hmm.
So it's like when you look at the whole Boston organization as a whole, they took time and put the pieces together, gave Jalen Brown his time to grow, Jason Tatum, it's your show. People say, oh, they're not playing well together, they're not passing. They figured it out. Compared to a team of veterans, right? Marcus Smart is probably the Marcus Smart and Al
He's
Horford
the
the most
most tenured
veteran.
Celtic.
No,
Yeah.
what Al Horford. Al Horford.
But
Then
I'm
Marcus
saying
Smart.
he's been in Boston the longest.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
right. But Al Horford and Mark Smart. But we're talking
Hmm.
about, and again, Brooklyn's problem ain't even the players. It's the coach. But I'm not gonna talk about that because I'm not talking about Brooklyn today. I'm not giving it my energy. All right.
Okay. Well, you're not giving
Boston,
Brooklyn your energy.
I'm not giving Brooklyn my energy. I'm not.
Kyrie and Kevin Durant got to stop chasing their tails. You want to be the man. You want to be the man. And let's and all I'm gonna say and move on is Kevin Durant was in Oklahoma City. You were the guy. You were the guy with a team that was loaded. You decided to go join the Warriors. The Warriors had won without you. You go win in Golden State. You're not getting enough recognition. You're out. You go to Brooklyn. Kyrie won with LeBron in Cleveland. You leave Cleveland. You go to Boston. Together in Boston. I mean, you leave Cleveland. You go to Boston. You leave Boston now. You go to Brooklyn. As great as they are, something about those guys that they need to figure out amongst themselves. And now that they have Ben Simmons and they had James Harden, I just think that Brooklyn is picking up a bunch of guys that have the same issue. So, Mr. Shaw says, let's move on away from those guys because he ain't talking about them.
He not.
The Raptors and Sixers, Philly leads that series 3-2. Raptors got a win yesterday. Embiid is hurt. Embiid is going to play through his injury, they said, through the playoffs. I think that the 76ers will win that series. And we both said that when we picked them the first week.
They
So,
they got a lot of firepower. And Tyrese Maxey slowly but surely is putting people on notice of who he is, right? But he knows how to play with other people, right? So and again, that's the they have potential to be very dangerous as long as Joel Embiid can stay healthy.
correct. I agree. So, from that series, the next series, Bucks Bulls. Bucks leads that series 3-1. Game 6 of that series is Thursday. I mean, the Bucks are pretty much dominated that series. Chris Middleton was out the other night. Chicago decided they weren't going to go away. They've been without Lonzo Ball the series. Like I said
Oh yeah, he
earlier,
done for the season.
yeah, Alex Caruso is questionable for tomorrow's night game, and so is Zach Levine. If Zach is questionable, I don't see them getting another win in that series.
I don't even think he questionable no more. I think he I'm not gonna get off my phone because I'm not on my computer, but I think he didn't pass COVID protocol. So I think they're almost guaranteed without him. I'm almost positive they guarantee without him because I said in the car, I was like, well, because on the other night I had a player from North Carolina named Kobe White who gave me point 0.2 points. And there was a point where he had negative points. I'm trying, how do you have negative points? Right? You doing that bad, so he's gonna get more spin. So yeah, I think he's out. So, the
Yeah,
Bulls
so it
put
says
up a fight.
protocols is questionable. Yeah, as questionable for games. Said there's more testing to do. So if he's out, the Bulls are out. That's just my thought
Mm-hmm.
on that. Um, so moving on to the Western Conference, T Wolves and Grizzlies are playing right now. That series is tied 2-2. I think that series will go 7 games. I think what everybody's interested in, we're loving, is that we're watching the game and we're watching two fathers sit side by side and cheer their boys on.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that the media is covering that. Like, it just makes the game so much more interesting. When Cat went down the other night, you saw John Morant go check on his boy, make sure he was okay. But I feel like everybody in this series is playing hard. Like, they got
You
something to
feel that
prove.
way?
You don't think that, like, back and forth, like the other night, Minnesota played hard. I've seen games where the Grizzlies was like, because it's important for them to create legacies there for those franchises.
I don't see nothing Cat doing as important.
You don't see anything. You don't think he's playing. What would you like to see from Cat?
Consistent, dominant. You say you the greatest big man shooter all the time, and you having games where you got less than 10 points. Dirk would never. Dirk would never. You talking about you the greatest big man? Dirk would never. Dirk dominated. Like, do what Dirk did. Don't tell me about how great you are as a big. And we seen Dirk dominate LeBron, Chris Bosh, Andy. Don't do that. You got in the playoff. Do you see how they celebrated getting for a play-in win?
But okay, so
They was
I
up there like they
agree.
won a championship.
Agree
Like,
that
get
was
out
a
the first round.
conversation. I agree. But I think it's, again, I think it's that you know what you're doing for the franchise. I think they're just wanting to have fun. I think that's the one thing that I give them. It's just like, I feel like they're wanting to have fun. I do agree. Right now he has, I think I just saw 6 points. He has 6 points. He's played 8 minutes. In the first, there in the second quarter is what I have. Second quarter, Minnesota's up 41-36. But they're young. Like, do I believe he's the greatest big man ever? Absolutely not, especially being in
He said
Minnesota
greatest
after
big man shooter.
biggest shooter.
Big man
He's
shooter.
still behind Dirk. And I'm not a Dirk fan, but you gotta give Dirk credit where credit is due. Also, he has a ring. We know those things all play a part in when you can call yourself a GOAT. Like,
Yeah.
when you want to start titling yourself the GOAT and putting crowns on your head, you better win a championship.
Or be dominant.
At some point,
You don't got you gotta be
you
dominant.
you
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 gotta
you could
do
be a
what
goat and not win a ring. Yeah.
Joel Embiid does healthy. You
He
you
think he's
gotta
soft.
yeah,
Yeah.
you gotta give us Joel Embiid if you're gonna
Don't
put GOAT
forget
in front of
Joel
him.
Embiid thought you was soft. He thought you was soft on the court, then went played you on the internet. Jimmy, I see why you left. Like, come on, you soft. Like, nah, bro. You are supposed to be the best. And again, I'm saying this because I seen him be soft in Kentucky. And when I needed you most, you can't
How
go
did
get
I
a
know this
bucket.
was coming back to Kentucky?
It's just
Like,
real. It's just real.
we
It's just real.
literally, we literally should
It's
have
just
someone pull your
real.
video and count how many times you say Kentucky per episode. Like,
Well, this the
we
first
re-
time.
we
This
really,
the
but
first
you
time.
say
But
it
this real. Cat not a
every
cat.
single episode.
Cat don't be dominant like you need him to be. You supposed to be able to go. I supposed to be able to throw it into you. You supposed to go get a bucket when you want to, like Shaq. Like, you can't do Valanciunas. Come on, bro.
Well, Mr. Shaw wants to see you be a little bit more dominant. Pelicans Suns, they're tied 2-2 in this series as well. Um, the West is proven still to be one of the hardest conferences to survive in. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean both. I feel like both of them more, but
You feel
them and
like that Boston Brooklyn series was real easy. It was real easy.
that's it's coaching.
But it was real easy.
It was coaching.
There was a whole sweep. Minnesota Atlanta series is 3-1. Like, these other
You said
series where
Miami,
you gotta
Atlanta.
go Miami, yeah, Miami Atlanta is 3-1. Like these series in the West are 2-2 ties.
I mean, okay,
The Warriors are at 3-1, but again, this Golden State team over the Nuggets who's having injuries is a different story. Nuggets are, so I just think the West is proving to still be the most dominant conference.
I think that's a you gotta take that with a grain of salt. You
Okay.
know, again, Brooklyn is. I don't know why I said that name. I can't speak on them. I can't. The West is competitive. The West has been the more competitive conference for almost the past 15 to 20 years. So I'm not gonna try to linger away from that. But I do feel like the next round series will be better. I feel like Brooklyn. When what made us think Brooklyn was going to be playoff ready? You had a person who didn't play home games to the end of the season. Where's the
KD was
where's the
hurt.
cohesion? You know what I'm saying? Where is the cohesiveness? All right.
I mean, I
Um,
agree. I agree. But we will
Giannis.
see.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I see. I think I saw the Pelicans come alive the other night. Um,
Chris Paul,
I
you can't have
saw
games like that, bro.
you saw a burst of energy, right? Things that normally don't happen to him, getting the ball stole, signature moves. But these young players have something to prove. And the
Hmm.
fact is, some of these young names that we're seeing on these other teams, they're not. Their name is not Chris Paul. Their name is not Cat. Their name is not Jimmy Butler. So I think these are opportunities to get your name in the lights. And New Orleans is full of that because Zion is hurt, right? Ingram has come alive. They have players that have been around the league that's showing up during the playoffs.
Hmm.
And what Draymond Green said, we basically gonna see what your DNA is composed of during the playoffs, and that's what we're seeing. So shout out to them. Now the story that
Cause
we
Utah,
must talk
y'all
about.
trash.
Well, how did you know we were going to that? So the story that we must talk about is last night in the Triple D, the city was out. Okay, the city was out. The stars were in full effect. The Cowboys, current stars, Kyler Murray, Patrick Mahomes were in the building. Dallas had a star-studded vibe. Dirk Nowitzki was in the building, and Luca went to work last night. Luca went to work. He showed up and he showed out for the city. Like he put the city on his back and he showed the Mavericks have and I can never root for Dallas teams because they're disappointments. But with Jason Kidd being the head coach, how can we not root for Dallas?
Utah not good, bro. It's I don't not taking nothing away from the Mavs. The Mavs actually play better without Luke on the court. We just being
I
honest.
agree.
I don't think people
And
gonna
they
be
did.
realistic. That team, Luca is not LeBron, and I say that in the aspect of what he brings to the rest of the team. Luca is more of a Westbrook, putting up great numbers, but can you really get your team over the hump because you have the ball in your hand so much? You know what I mean? So, but it speaks more to the Utah Jazz.
Does
Y'all
it
let
speak
the
to the
Mavericks still,
Utah Jazz?
you let the Mavericks steal a game without Luca.
Hmm.
Without their best player, they
So
stole
does
the
it
game.
speak to Jason Kidd's coaching? Does it does it
No, no,
does
no,
it
no, no,
speak
no,
to
no,
his ability to make the adjustments
no,
where
no, 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 no.
necessary?
Jason Kidd is a great coach. Jason Kidd has potential to be a great coach one day. He probably should have been a Lakers head coach. But this all got to do with because again, with playing the fantasy, Mike Conley, you ain't showed up yet. Jordan Clarkson, you showed up one time, right? Donovan Mitchell, you be so iffy. When their best player isn't playing, y'all lost at home, if I'm not mistaken. Y'all lost one game. Yes, it was split. It's 3-2 now,
Hmm.
man. You lost the
Hmm.
game at home. You lost game 2 at home, and they don't have their best player. No, bro, you supposed to be back in Dallas 2-0. Then they could have been 2-2, but no. And then game like I just don't I don't. I think it's more speaking to the talent level, and that Donovan Mitchell probably gone after this.
You
Right?
think so?
He probably gone after this. Don't nobody stay
Where's
in
he
Utah,
going?
but I don't know, but don't nobody black stay in Utah, but Karl Malone and Darren Williams tried, and they got him out of there. Right? Like no. Utah don't have black superstars. Utah need to draft what'll fit in Utah. That is, you need to get you a Karl Malone type brother or somebody who looks like Utahians, whatever they call. But yeah, Jason Kidd, the Mad, because the next round is not gonna look like that. The next round, Luka being on the ball so much, taking away from Spencer Dinwiddie, taking away from Jalen Brunson, is gonna hurt them. Them getting out the first, it speaks more to Utah and just their lack of, and not even their
Well,
coach, just their lack of.
and sometimes that happens on teams, right? It's always about putting the pieces together, how the pieces gel. And as you say, those bench players, those, you don't have to be Donovan Mitchell. You don't have to be the star. Role players have to play their role when it's time to play their role. So I don't know why we're looking at Sonic.
Cause I was yawning. Your mama told me about yawning. I couldn't help it.
So uh we talked about it. I said last night, I said KD is going to tweet. He's going to be somewhere tweeting from a burner account. Shaq, Charles Barkley, Skip Bayless, Stephen A. Smith may be three of the most controversial journalists besides Damian Woody. That's a whole nother story. They may be three of the most controversial sports journalists right there are, but they are also three of our best journalists to do it in this business. Um, Stephen A is a cowboy. He hates the Cowboys. Skip Bayless loves the Cowboys. Stephen A is a Philly guy who talks Philly sports, and Philly fans, if you know anything about sports, are some of the worst people when it comes in the sports world.
They blew
So,
Michael Irving.
right, Stephen A has been very critical of Ben Simmons, Kyrie Irving during this whole time. Charles Barkley made comments about Kevin Durant, and the Shade Room picked up Stephen A comments. And so, being that I am a journalist, a sports journalist, as well as a gossip entertainment journalist, I'm like, we really talking about Stephen A. Stephen A says something controversial every single day, loudly, boldly, rudely. That's Stephen A. is good, is the bad guy. Like that, he is the villain. That is his role. From a play devil's advocate perspective, Mr. Shaw,
Mm-hmm.
should we as journalists also find a balance in criticizing athletes from a work home life balance? Should
Um,
certain things be off limits and people not receive criticism for them? Because Ben Simmons and Rich Paul undoubtedly met with Philadelphia and told them that he didn't play because he is he has a mental block that he's currently dealing with that may trigger the back pain.
what's the question?
Mr. Shaw, you make it so difficult. I gave you the question.
What's the question again?
Work
Cause
life
you,
balance. Should we be
oh,
less
cause you
critical?
cause you started telling me about somebody mental block and back pain.
That was the
Like,
part of the question.
all
You
right, bro. Look. Just I'm not trying to hear nothing. Your mental block, your back pain. You can't shoot. That you can't shoot. Your mental block is your three. You mentally block from shooting the three. This don't piss me off, Ben. No, bro. They doing their job. They doing their job. Their job is to report the news. Their job is to be a journalist. So if something happened in your personal life that is a story and they found out first, they're doing their job. No, I'm not mad. And be careful of what you do and say. You know how the society works. If you have chosen to put yourself in the spotlight, if you have chosen to be because nobody makes you do it. Nobody make you play basketball. You could have stayed over in Australia and hooped. And nobody would never know you. You could have made whatever money you made over there. No, you decide to come to America. You decide. So you put yourself in that limelight. Whatever you said, something happened, people leaked it. That's on you. So yeah, I definitely got no problem with journalists reporting the news.
well, Kevin Durant posted on his Instagram today, and I have a screenshot of it. Easy Money Sniper. It was your account. Don't tell us it was hacked later. I just feel like Kevin Durant should be a man about it and say what he got to say. Like I feel like you should pull up, right? Because you're free, you're available. You should pull up at the table, sit down with Shaq, Kenny, Ernie, and say what you got to say. But again, he was like basically Charles was rolling with the big dogs. He posted a picture of Akeem. He posted a picture of Dr. J in the Sixers when he was in Philly.
Mm-hmm.
But the reality is, Kevin Durant, you want to be a big dog, and you didn't win without playing with other big dogs.
Hmm.
So I just thought it was a.
And then win when you were playing with other big dogs.
So you went to the big dogs that were already solidified, will be one of the best teams in history of the NBA. They've already established that with one of the best backcourts of all time. You went and joined the Warriors. You have no championships minus the Warriors. You have no championships minus joining the Warriors. So I felt like your shot at Charles was the same thing. like you and I think that like we always say here, y'all, the reality is as journalists, we only talk about the headlines. Mr.
Mm-hmm.
Shaw and I do not wake up when we have conversations. We do not talk about athletes. Now, for me, I think that Black America needs to be fair, and I say that all the time. Please stop getting in on conversations that you are 35 years late to the party. So Jamie Foxx had comments about Stephen A. And it always seems like we're ripping, and yes, maybe he should rip Tom Brady a little differently. But I feel like everybody gets on that bandwagon. Skip
Mm-hmm.
Bayless had something to say about LeBron James, about Savannah James posting a picture of LeBron being in the Maldives drinking tequila. He had the audacity to question LeBron's commitment to basketball and winning. So Skip Bayless is a Cowboy fan, Michael Jordan fan. He is a LeBron basher every single chance he gets to talk about LeBron. He does.
Ever.
And that's what makes sports what it is. We try to keep it balanced. Like, I don't like Tom Brady that anybody knows. Mr. Shaw talks Kentucky all the time. We're humans. We have our picks. We love our teams. We love our players. This is a part of the game. So I just say to my people, to our cousins, to our distant cousins, y'all stop showing up late to the party, want to have some comments. Really wasn't anything for the shade room, in my opinion. You guys like to run with this cancel culture until it's time to cancel your daddy and mama and your cousins too. I don't think that Charles or Stephen A said anything bad. I can't listen to but Stephen A clips because he makes my head hurt. He yells too loud. It's just I feel like it gets louder and louder
He
every
born
episode.
since he lost Skip.
Well, then he gets Michael Irvin on it, and they yell together, and it's just like,
It ain't the same. See, Skip was the balance. Right? Skip like how Skip and Shannon balance. He needed
mhm.
Max wasn't Skip. And there ain't
Max
no other
definitely
Skip
wasn't
out
Skip.
there.
No, there
There
isn't
is
because
no other Skip.
Skip is sometimes so far to the left. But I love the Uncle Shay Shay Skip connection. It makes Skip tolerable. And like I said, you guys, when you tap into our world, understand that this is years and years of stuff. So, y'all, this is your girl Candy K. Lynn. We gave you 33 minutes of sports talk, and we out. Mr.
It's
Shaw,
your boy Shout Time Shout, aka the Fat Mamba.
y'all, until next week, we love you. Thank you for your
Yeah.
support. Pull up.
Pull up.